Steph, big game today, tomorrow. Today, what's the feel of the group going into this big rivalry weekend?
Yeah, big game, and we knew it was going to be a tough week for us. Started the week off well in Houston, and I think actually in LA even we have some chances to maybe take that 1-1 into the half, and then might be a different game. But overall, I think we want to obviously make this a successful week and got a massive game coming up.
Does that result in LA do anything to tamp down the momentum that was sort of building here, you think?
No, I still think we believe in how we were able to get results in the past and how we were able to do it. And I don't think it changes. Obviously, it's nice if you can keep on acquiring points, but at some point you do have a misstep. And I think the most important things when you have those is how quickly can you bounce back. And there's no better time than against your rival on the weekend.
Steph, how do you make this game not bigger than it is, but yet make it a big game, if you know what I'm saying? The guys aren't overly pressing, but just sticking to the plan and just executing.
I don't think we have to make it anything more than it is. I think everybody knows it's a rivalry game, but everybody knows it's in conference, massive 3 points. There's not much else that you need to say there. I think we're going to go down there. It's going to be a hostile environment. For the most part, everybody knows that, I think. So there's no need to make it anything else than what it is. It's going to be a good game. They're a good side. I think we know what makes them tick. Can we limit that because they're good at it? But I expect the battle, and that's what it should be, and not more.
You guys are the third. You possess the ball the third most in MLS, and how does that correlate to when you do possess the ball? You guys are successful on offense. Can you just talk about the correlation between those?
Well, it really depends, right? I mean, possession has to be productive. It has to have fruits. Otherwise, what's the point of possession? So, I think at times we've actually struggled with that. So maybe there's moments where you're a bit more direct, and you, possession. Maybe you have a little more possession in the back, and you draw your opponent out to be able to be a bit more direct. Now, would that be considered? You've broken them down through possession, maybe the beginning part, but after that, it's a bit more of a direct play. But there's just got to be purpose behind it, right? I think whether you're playing San Diego, I think we had like 60% possession. We lose that game 3-0. What's the point, right? You'd rather be on the other end where you have 30, 35, 50, 40% possession, but you were exceptionally efficient with that. So it's a bit of a stat at times where people put too much weight on it. If there's no purpose behind it, it actually doesn't mean anything. So I think for us it's a matter of can we make it count when we have it? Can we extend it? Because the one thing that does happen when you have extended possession is it tires out the opponent. A stupid saying, but the ball never gets tired. The opponent does. So the more possession you have, obviously, the more you can let that ball roll. The more the opponent should get tired, and as part of that, then maybe holes open up and it becomes more easy to play.
You said we know what makes them tick. From what you've seen, what does make them tick?
Oh, they're quite direct. I think they made some good acquisitions. New DP. It's very, very skillful, quick. They don't lack confidence. They score some pretty nice goals, and that is because they're confident in their skill. And I think for me also, it looks like they're playing as a unit. In the past maybe they have had times where they really were focusing on a few players here and there, but they give me the sense of that they're a bit more of a unit, and that's dangerous because as a collective you can always achieve more than as an individual. So they're a good side.
Maybe people don't understand, and there's a misconception because of the position in part, but when you get a game off, how important is that for your recovery and things like that? That's what happened on here on Wednesday.
Yeah. There's so much that goes into that people don't understand. This isn't just a simple adding the mileage and then that's it. There's a mental side of things too. You get to wake up at home without the pressure. You get to maybe sleep in a little bit. You get to not have to worry about it. That's all mental recovery. Maybe guys who even traveled and maybe only played for 10 minutes or so. I think that's maybe more of a physical load reduction. But other than that, you're still, I think, for the most part, you're still going through that mental prep. You're still dealing with anxiety. You're still switched on at all times. And and those are all taxing things that don't show up in stats, but they happen regardless. So I think that's the job, the difficult job that staff has to really try to manage that, figure out what kind of rest is appropriate for what player, and make sure that we can try to get through a whole year that's filled with different competition and goals, and trying to be as successful as possible throughout.
On Wednesday, do you still come in here and do work? Do you stay at home and just kind of have a brief day? How does Wednesday look for you?
Well, I'm the old fart, so I got to stay home. My commute from Bainbridge is a bit longer, but I did some really light yard work outside that kind of posed as recovery, if you will, active recovery, and then painted a little bit. But like I said, I think for goalkeepers maybe it's a bit different anyways. It's the mental side of things is a huge part, and I get butterflies every game, and those are welcome, those are important. But maybe when you know you're going to rest, eliminating those butterflies for a day is true rest, is true mental rest. And it helps when you have the utmost confidence in all the guys that step in, because I think we have a good squad. Maybe not the result we were looking for, but sometimes those things can change very quickly. So still, good to get those guys out there, give them good minutes. And Stu obviously makes his debut as well, which is great.
Speaking of his debut, what's it like to see a young kid like that get an opportunity, especially when you've been around the game now for so long?
Yeah, great. It's a long journey for players to make it to this stage, but in many ways this is the start of the journey too. And I think that's always the secret sauce, if you ask me. Like, how do the players themselves look at these things? Are they like, oh, have I made it? Or am I like, no, this is the beginning of the hill I'm going to climb? And I think Stu is an example of, I think he has the right head on his shoulders, works hard, I think has big goals and dreams, and is willing to work towards them. And so I'm happy to see someone like that hit that milestone. And now I think he's eager to get to work, and me as a veteran, I'm always happy to share my 2 cents if they can help. But can't wait to see his progression and his career.
Last one for Steph.
Going back to Portland, how much do you feed off of Timber's Army when they're right behind you on that side, and then maybe the chainsaw when it's right behind you on the other side?
Well, the chainsaw used to follow you around before they made that illegal, right? I think he still revs it once in a while on the other side, but I think you try to zone all that out, because it requires the utmost concentration, and usually in those games, I think you can have good games, and within a split second of relaxing, things can change very quickly. Maybe that's the beauty of our sport as well, and more so than in other games or other sports. So I think you try to tune all that out, make sure you're ready and focused for 90 plus minutes, and then once the referee blows that final whistle, that's when you can kind of relax. And sometimes you almost wake up and you realize what's going on around you. But hopefully when you can relax, it's a good relax and you feel good about the result.